Shark graveyards have been in the news recently because of an amazing new find off Australia. But what are shark graveyards? They're not really what you might think. They're not full of bones. Because sharks don't have bones, they have a soft cartilage which deteriorates very quickly and is very rarely fossilised. It's just their teeth that remain. And what the Australian scientists found is really just an area with a huge number of shark teeth. They pulled up over 700 teeth in one trawl, from a place they were looking near the Cocos Keeling Islands, about 1800 miles from Perth on the west coast of Australia. You can see the cartilage in modern sharks by special techniques, and there's an amazing company called Craniata that does it, for example. But it's a very difficult and fragile process, and in any case, when a shark dies, the cartilage soon dissolves. Even so, there are one or two fully preserved cartilage skeletons from sharks, although they're extremely rare. And of the sharks like Megalodon, the famous giant shark that went extinct nearly 4 million years ago, we only really have the big teeth, and there's just one skeleton that I know of that is in a museum in Belgium, and that only has the backbone, and when the shark dies, the backbone tends to be the biggest part of the cartilage remaining. So how come these latest Australian discoveries found the teeth of both old and new sharks? And why were there so many found in one place on the seabed off Cocos Keeling Island? The scientists themselves could only speculate. They said that perhaps it was the deepest part of the ocean in that place, and so everything fell down to the bottom there. But that's not the whole story. Sharks were hugely more abundant, and in fact, despite our best efforts to exterminate them through fishing, there are still one or two places in the world that have that sort of historical abundance. So the old seas had many sharks. Sharks, of course, tend to congregate where there's good food and where the currents are right to bring the food to them. They often hover on currents, waiting for food to come downstream. So maybe the place where these teeth were, the shark graveyard, was one really excellent place for sharks too. And sharks often shed teeth to keep them sharp. Tiger sharks, for instance, have got 3 rows of teeth, and they're always losing them. So potentially there's going to be a massive amount of shark teeth on the seabed, and the teeth, which are a bit more like bones, mineralise well. And that's the final factor that has to come into play. There has to be the minerals like phosphate in the seabed for the teeth to start fossilising. So all those factors have come together, and that's why you can find shark graveyards on the seabed. The new Australian find was very deep at about 5 kilometres, about 18,000 feet, but you can find shark graveyards all over the world, and the most notable one is probably in Venice Beach, Florida, where you can just go along about 4 miles of beach there and just pick up shark teeth anywhere you want. And there's also lots of fossil shark teeth in Morocco, where there's phosphate deposits, particularly good at fossilising sharks' teeth. Excitingly, in the new Australian finds, as well as the giant Megalodon teeth, there was the immediate ancestor, another giant shark and whale killer, snappily named because we don't have any common names, Carcharocles tubutensis. And the tooth of that shark shows the intermediary stage of evolution to the very large knife-shaped tooth that sharks like Megalodon had, that have been called the ultimate cutting tools. And most intriguingly, in the very same deposits, mixed up with those of sharks that went extinct 10 million years ago, the Australians trawled up the teeth of modern-day sharks, like the blue and the mako. So whatever made this such a popular place with sharks off the Cocos Keeling Islands has been going on for a very long time. If you like that short but in-depth explanation, please subscribe to Induna, and I'll bring you some more updates about the mysterious creatures of the deep.